I'm trying to go live on my Instagram feed.
Make sure you're on already.
I'm waiting for my IG live feed. I think I am on the right one. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in. Okay, I was on Spectrenet, no wonder. Oh, I think Olarinde is switched off.
Already on.
It's not. I can't even see it.
I put it on.
It's not. It's not. It's not at all. What I have here is just Spectrenet.
Let me see.
It's completely switched off. Spectrenet and 11 Pro. I think it's switched off. Same thing.
Don't tell me I recorded using Spectrenet.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, my recording was having.
So sorry guys, I want to change the network provider. I'm having a bit of a challenge with the current network provider that I am on. So I want to switch over to another network provider. So that will take about 2 to 3 minutes and we will be right back. But we're very good on the YouTube live feed.
You know what's off? That means I recorded on Spectrenet. Means my recording to be messed up.
Might not be, he might be lucky.
Spectrenet is always green.
Hello. So I'm waiting for it to come back up. It's gonna take a few seconds, few minutes. Still not up.
Use Spectrenet. It was clear for me.
Was
Like,
it?
the bit distorted, but it's clear.
Let's say you cannot do this in 1 day, of course.
Olarinde is still not coming up.
It will take a while. Use Spectrenet.
But it's not coming up. Let me. Spectrenet is not working. It's not coming up. No. What do I do? What do I do?
Oh man, it was horrible. Wait for Larry to come up.
Sorry, guys.
I don't know how I forgot myself. Yeah, you just have to wait with it.
I don't know what to do. I'm really trying to connect.
Come up now. You have to give it some time.
My IG live feed is unable to come up. Okay, finally it's up. Let's see. So I'm up. Let me get to my second internet provider on settings. Yes, I am live. I am live on my YouTube. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Life's Journey with Benedicta. I am sorry we had a bit of a network challenge today, but God's willing, we're up on YouTube Live and we are up on my IG Live, IG feed. So, welcome to Life's Journey with Benedicta. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, it is youtube.com/tastebudzng. Hello, Freddie Lion King. Thank you for joining in. Hello, official Larry 88. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for your patience. And on today's topic, I will be discussing how never to be a great divorcee. What is great divorce or being a great divorcee? If you're joining us for the first time, I would like to tell you how this show works. Usually we come here to talk about life issues, stories, people's life challenges, how they have managed to live through it, or how they have overcome these challenges. It is our duty to learn from them. We mustn't go through everything that they have gone through in order for us to excel. You mustn't go through everything in life. Sometimes you just have to listen to what others have been through, learn from their stories, and learn how to navigate through your own life's journey. So on today's topic, I am going to be discussing gray divorcee situation. What is it? What does it mean for you to be a great divorcee? What does it mean for you to be a great divorcee? A lot of people above the ages of 50, 60, 70 are divorcing. Statistics show that we have a lot more people between the age brackets of 55 and 65 filing for a divorce. So what it means for you to be a great divorcee is for you to be filing for a divorce after your 25th wedding anniversary or after being together as a couple for 25 years. So if you've been in a marriage union for 25 years and above and you want to file for a divorce or you're thinking of filing for a divorce, you fall into that category, great divorcee. Love you so much, Auntie Bene. Love you too, my darling Lily on the Smoke 911, and thank you for joining in. So that is what it means. That is what it means for you to be a great divorcee. And I'm here to tell you that you do not want to fall into that category. There are so many reasons why I tell you don't want to be a great divorcee, especially if you are living in this part of the world where men just dispose their women after several number of years. I mean, if you want to file at the age of 50, don't think that you're going to be getting anything most likely you're going to be booted out. That is if you do not have financial stability. When I'm talking about financial stability for a woman, I am talking about finances that belongs to you and you alone. Land titles, deed, properties that has your name on it. If you do not have that, then you do not have financial stability. You will have nothing should you decide to divorce at an older age. Even when you decide to divorce at a younger age, most likely you would live with only those things that actually belong to you. And in some cases, like in my own case, they even tried to take those things that belongs to me. So now imagine you not having anything to your name. You're most likely going to come out empty-handed. So in a country like Nigeria, or in a society like the African society, it is advisable that if you must file for a divorce, you're better off doing it while you are younger, while you still have energy left in you to work at something and make something out of your life. Imagine coming out from a dead marriage at the age of 55. You're old, your energy level is zero, you can't go and get a day job of 9 to 6, or should I say 6 to 8, which is the case in Nigeria. You leave because of the heavy traffic by 6 a.m., get to your office by 8 a.m., and you grind until 6, and then by 6 you start coming home. So imagine filing for a divorce at 50 or 55 years old in Nigeria as a man or as a woman, and you have no financial standing. Do you think you can go back to the grind at 55? Definitely not. You can't go back to the grind. So that is one of the consequences of filing for a divorce when you are gray, old and gray. That is something I wouldn't advise anyone to do. So you're better off doing it when you are much younger, when you have the energy to toil, make something out of your life all over again or once again. And then imagine when you were younger, you had, everything going for you. You had your looks, you had your energy level, you had people skill, you had the network out there. You could reach out to friends and family alike to help you put the pieces of your life together. But when you're old and gray, my darling, it's going to be so difficult for you to start everything all over again. Imagine those body parts. Some don't even look as good as they used to look. Some are not even as functional as they once used to be. I almost fell into that trap of being a gray divorcee. Yes, I almost fell into that trap. Here in Africa, or in most parts of the world, what do you usually tell a woman that is contemplating divorce is, why don't you stay, try and endure, just stay and endure for the sake of the children. When they're much older and when they are grown and they're out of the home, you can now file for a divorce. Seriously, that is a horrible advice. If there is anyone giving you that advice, I'm telling you, you're not going to be happy 20 years from now that you took that advice. Because when the children are all grown and they're out of the home, they've gone to live their own lives. How are you going to start toiling all over again at the age of 55? This is not a Bill and Melinda and Bill Gates situation where they are filing for a divorce at that age and the man is gracious enough to split their assets, giving the woman what is duly hers and going with what is duly his. That is not the situation in most divorce cases here in Nigeria. So if you are hoping that you're going to stick it out, you're going to endure until all the children are grown, old, and they're out of the home before you can move on with your life. You must be financially independent for you to make that decision. Because if you make that decision and you're old and gray and you are not financially dependent, who is going to be there to help you put the pieces of your life together? Like, go on vacation with in and out of the country is the kind of union that I wanted in my life. This is the kind of marriage that I wanted to have. And when I wasn't having it, I knew if I didn't get out, now that I still had my limbs together, now I still had the energy level to go on mountain climbing, now that I still have the energy level to travel from one country to another with the love of my life, my husband. If I don't do that now and I'm waiting until I'm 60, do you think my knees, when osteoporosis has set in, do you think my knees will be able to go on that hiking? Do you think I will be able to ski, or I will be able to do all those fun things that I have always wanted to do with my life partner? No, the answer is no. I will be too old and gray and too tired. My whole life would have passed me by. And I didn't want this for myself. So I opted to leave while I was younger, while I was stronger, while I had my energy about, and I could, pick up the pieces of my life and start all over again. So if you have a picture of what you want your life to be, you have a picture of what you want your marriage to look like, and you feel you aren't having it now, if there is anyone out there telling you to wait until you're gray and old before filing for a divorce, I'm telling you today, you are really going to regret it. Because sometimes I sit here and I think about the 10 years that I lost. 10 years in a horrible marriage, and then the 10 years, nearly 10 years, 9 years and 2 months that I spent fighting to get out of it. A total of 19 years. Some people will say, wasn't there a time you were loving your marriage? Wasn't there a time you were living your dream? It's sad, but in my own situation, there was never a time. My misery started on the day of my white wedding. That was the day. First of all, I was packed out of my matrimonial room. I was asked to move to another room and never to share a room with my husband. So it was hell on earth. It was a shocker. It was like, welcome from the wedding reception. Move over to the next room. I argued, I fought, I kicked against it, but within 5 days after my white wedding, I had to move to my personal bedroom, and that was where I was confined until the day I filed for my divorce. So whenever I was needed, they would come and meet me there. So what am I trying to say? This wasn't what I pictured my marriage to be. I wanted to share a bedroom with my husband. As trivial as some of you might think this is, it isn't trivial. It is extremely painful having to come back from your wedding reception and being asked the next day to move to your own room. This wasn't the kind of marriage I envisaged. I wanted to have a marriage where I will share a room with my husband, where we'll gossip all night, where we're going to plan for trips abroad, where we're going to dress up, do our shoibi and co. At 23, 24, you're young, you want to had never went to the cinemas, holding hands with your husband, going to the cinema, never did all those things. And I wanted to live this life. I wanted to know what it felt like, to be in a loving marriage, having a man dote after you, fighting, quarreling, making up at night, It's not always rosy, don't get me wrong. There is no marriage, no union that is completely rosy. But there will be times where you'll have, those moments that whenever you end up in a quarrel, you only have to look back at those memories and remember that, oh my God, it's not always this bad. So I had this whole idea of how I wanted my marriage played out. I wanted to be pregnant and have my husband massage my feet once in a while, rub my back. And when the baby comes, I wanted him to help me change baby diapers once in a while, not every time, the usual. And if I had waited, I was gray and old to divorce, my entire life would have passed me by. I would never have understood or experienced what it felt like to have a baby with your husband that loves you, that can also help you carry the baby at night while you sleep, also help you change diapers once in a while you sleep. So now I can say that I know what it feels like to be in a loveless marriage and what it feels like to be in a loving marriage while I am still young, or I'm not yet gray, I'm not yet 50. So it's a privilege, and I'm happy I could enjoy both, I could experience it both ways. So when people tell me, like, why am I saying this? When people tell me, I want to file for a divorce, this thing is really terrible, I'm suffering, oh, my husband is maltreating me, it's not just going well, he's beating me, he's this, he's that. But my parents are telling me to endure, that once the children are all grown and they are out of the university, I can now file. When I hear women tell me this, I feel pained. I feel sad when I hold back and I'm not able to tell them my own experience. From my own experience, I'm not going to tell you to hold back. It's not worth it. You're going to hate yourself for not having lived that life. If I tell you that now, sometimes I feel really bad for allowing myself to waste almost 12 to 13 years of my life, in a bad union, and then filing for a divorce, running up and down, When I think back, I'm like, my goodness, did I really waste those number of years? Oh God, why didn't I come out earlier? That's what I keep telling myself. Why did I not come out earlier? And this is me, coming out and moving on with my life after 13, 14 years. Imagine not moving on with your life until 40 years later, 30 years after the marriage, in the bid of allowing the children to go to school, graduate. Oh, I want the children to have a life of their own. Listen, you can always make this work. There is always a way out. And that is why my crusade from now until God knows how many more years I have to live, I am going to keep advocating for the Nigerian government to look into the laws that governs divorce in Nigeria. Our colonial masters that handed this law down to us before, I think 1959, it was handed down to us, the Marital Act law that governs divorce. It is long gone, it is obsolete. We shouldn't be using those laws in 2021. Those laws should have been amended. Some of them should have been abolished and new laws enacted to favor the society that we're currently living in. This is going to be my crusade because it's really not worth it. We are suffering unduly. If these laws are reformed, we are going to have an easier life as regards divorce. People can divorce as young people and move on with their lives. Even great divorcees in Nigeria would have hope, where retirement benefits can be split between both parties, where properties can be split between both parties. Old women don't have to be kicked out of their homes anymore because they are old, they are no longer of childbearing age. their beauty is long gone, and then their husbands don't have use for them, and then they're just going to be thrown out of the home. If you are going to be divorcing your old wife that is 50 and above, please be ready to split your assets with her. It is unfair that you just throw her out. And even if she is the one filing for the divorce, your properties, your assets ought to be split so she can move on with her life and pick up the pieces from whatever is left of it. That is the reason why in Nigeria, both young that are miserable, they can't divorce. The old and gray that are dying inside, they still can't divorce. Because they are going to be kicked out and sent back at 50 to their parents' home. I know a woman that at 61, she's a grandmom, a young grandmother with 3 grandchildren. The husband got this new wife, and the new wife kept bickering that the older wife was being mean to her. And just like that, the man woke up and asked his 61-year-old wife to move back to her parents' home. 61. Her oldest son had to intervene. The daughters had to threaten their father that they will disown him and they will ensure that he doesn't have access to their grandchildren. This was in order to get him back to his senses. And they told him, if you don't want our mother anymore, give her one of your properties. Give her at least one of your properties. You can't send her back to the village at 61. You are gray and you want to divorce. No problem. Give our mother one of your properties so she can have where to lay her head. So please, in Africa, it's so messy. And the reason why it is this messy is because of the laws that was handed down to us by our colonial masters. We are still using these same old laws. They have not been reformed. We have no plans of enacting new laws that will be favorable to men and women. Every day we scream gender equality. Gender equality. We are jokers in this part of the world. We don't understand the meaning of gender equality. If we want gender equality, then we should start by enacting laws that will be favorable to women, not just to the men. Because these laws are not favorable, I call them judicial loopholes. That is why men can treat women the way they do. You can wake up and boot your wife out of the house. And even very wealthy women can wake up and boot their husbands out of the house if they want to. There is no law in place that can checkmate them. Enough of this rubbish. This is not a zoo. Yes, I know Nigeria now, right now, we're like living in a zoo, but we shouldn't live like this. This is not the way to live. We are in 2021, for crying out loud. The world has left us behind. The world has left us behind. And it shouldn't be like this. We shouldn't continue to be the butt of the class. Please let us wake up. We need legislators that would stand and legislate new laws that would be favorable to women, that will be favorable to men as regards divorce, property settlement, children custody issues. When these laws have been reformed, when these new favorable laws have been enacted, we would be able to have a sane divorce procedure put in place that would guide men and women when they are seeking for a dissolution of their marriage. Right now, it's like a jungle. Men just get up and they do whatever they want to do to their wives. Nothing is going to happen. If the woman is not financially buoyant enough and ready to die inside the matter and stand and keep pursuing the matter year in, year out, she's just going to scurry off like a rabbit or like a rat to some hole and then go and bury her head in shame. Enough is enough. Women should stop running around and burying their heads in shame. Your husband boots you out, he doesn't want you. That's not the end of the world. You know, fight for what is yours. A wife boots you, you know, maltreats you. You can't just walk away like that. You have to go to the court and fight it out. Justice must be served. But I find out that as a people, as a country, we're going to keep going around in circles treating malaria, treating headache in a situation of malaria. Someone has malaria. Why don't you treat malaria? But instead of treating malaria, you're treating the symptoms that is coming forth from the malaria illness. Until you treat malaria, that feverish feeling, that headache is never going to go. So let us stop running around and looking for justice in a judicial system where we have laws that are not favorable, laws that are long outdated, laws that the people that handed us those laws are no longer using. They have moved on. They have moved on. And that is why in your presence or in your absence in the United States, once a divorce petition has been filed, if you are present or if you are absent, it's irrelevant. After a certain number of days, I think it's within 3 months, that divorce is finalized. Both parties are going their separate ways. But here in Nigeria, that's not the case. And that is because of the laws that are governing the Marriage Act in Nigeria. We need those laws to be amended. If you are in the power to change them, if you are a legislator and you have the power to change them, please, I am begging you, we should start looking into these laws. They are not progressive. They are not progressive in any way. They are obsolete, and we should all come together and see what we can do to make life it's not making life a living hell. We should make life pleasurable. We should make life enjoyable. We should make life livable for one another. How many years do we really have to live? 80 years if you're lucky, 90. Why should we make life living hell for ourselves? Why? Each other up. Of how you're young, file for a divorce. That is not. Every man understands. That is why I have always believed in joint custody. Joint custody, a man and a woman having equal rights to raising their children, irrespective of their marital status, whether they are married or whether they are divorced. Because if this happens, and if our government and our legislature put in laws to ensure that this happens, you will find out that men and women can file for a divorce without having to wait for their children to grow, for their children to be out of college before doing that. Because there will be no need for that. If you know that you will always be a part of your child's life, irrespective of your marital standing, you will not have to wait for children to graduate from college in order for you to live your life. You will not have to wait because you know that you can live your life, be happy, while still contributing to the lives of your children, while still being a part of their lives, while still being able to raise them. That should not stop you. But in this part of the world, because we know that, if a woman should get up to file for a divorce, the man is going to take the children away from the woman. Take the children away from the woman completely and prevent her from seeing the children. So because that is the norm, that is the usual practice in Nigeria, women are now advised to wait and be old and become grandmothers before they leave. Whereas in civilized societies, women that wait until they are gray decided to do that because they just discovered in their old age, when the children all went out of the house or out of the home, they just suddenly discovered that they no longer have that romantic affiliation with their husband. It's not something they've been planning for 20, 30 years and having to endure. It's just something that happened, you know? It just happened, like they woke up and realized that they no longer are romantically involved with their spouses. So they filed for a divorce at 50. They filed for a divorce at 60. Oh, I'm 60, I still have 20, 30 more years to go. And I no longer in love with you. All these years raising the children have, blinded me, making me not to realize that I really do not feel anything for you. So in their own situation in civilized countries, they just woke up and they discover that they are no longer in love with their partners. But here in Nigeria, if you see a woman divorcing or packing out of her husband's house at the age of 60 or 55 or 70, I'm telling you, if you should sit that woman down and ask her, Nai, why are you leaving at this time? She will tell you, I'm not a chill mazim. Emma, Hanchani na Potago from school. They are waiting for their children. Oh, that's why they waited this long. They have been planning for this exit for 20 to 30 years, but they were just waiting for their children to be out of college before they can take this exit. Why? Why did they have to wait? Because they know too well that if they had left 20 years ago, the man will take the children and will prevent the woman from having access to their children. And most women in Nigeria, it's a fact, they are not financially stable. They are not financially independent. So as a result of that, they cannot leave. They cannot get a legal counsel. They cannot get a lawyer to defend them in the court of law. And also, the laws that is governing the Marital Act in Nigeria is very, very harsh. Is a cake. It's not used in civilized countries anymore. So if you should go down that route, you most likely might not see your children for a very long time. Do you understand? I am currently in a situation similar to that, which I'm going to be discussing very soon. But like I said, if you know the laws and you know your right, you're going to stand up for it. You're going to fight for it. You will never keep quiet. You will never take no for an answer. Until the rightful thing is done, you will keep fighting for it. But many women will not do that. So they will rather sit in that marriage in misery and wait until they are gray and old and gently pack out of the home. Do you know the funny thing in Africa? Sometimes they tell the women, just endure. When you're 60 and your children are all grown, you'll just move into one of your children's homes. Just wait until you're 60. By then, your first daughter would have been married. When she's married, you can now move into her home. Then you leave this your wicked husband forever. Just move into your children's home. Should you actually be a nuisance to your child? Your young daughter of 25 that just got married, that should be doing her honeymoon with her husband in her home. You now, because you've been enduring your horrible marriage for 30 years, you'll now pack your load and move into your daughter's home at 60. And then, of course, she's your daughter. She will not be able to say, Mama, don't come. She will open her doors and welcome you in. Guess what? Her husband might not be happy with this. So already you are putting a strain on a young marriage as a result of your own failure to stand up to your own bad marriage. You're now putting a strain on the marriage of your own young daughter. Please, mothers, this is wrong. If you have been waiting for the past 30 years to end your horrible marriage with your horrible husband or whatever that is, please do not move you with your load into your daughter's home as a getaway. Move into your son's home as a getaway. The young couple will not like it. And some of them might not know how to tell you that, Mama, don't come. We don't want you in our home. They will not know how to tell you this. You will now go there in the bid of omugo, everlasting omugo that has no end. Have you seen some mothers going for omugo? They go for the omugo and the omugo never ends. This is very funny. Do you know why the omugo never ends? Because they are in a horrible marriage. They can't stand their husbands. That their husband that is 65 years old, the man wants to kill them. They have been enduring that husband for God knows 40 years. The man is a living terror. So this young daughter having a new baby is an excuse for the woman to leave her husband. Oh, Nai, I am going for Mugo. You know our daughter just had a baby. You now go for Mugo. Why I'm laughing, I have a childhood friend. She lives in Houston. I know she will kill me after this show. Her mother left. Oh God. I'm so sorry. Her mother left her dad for Omugo to Houston 11 years ago. She left for Omugo to Houston 11 years ago. She was in Houston when they told her that her husband has passed on. She still didn't come back for the funeral. So do you understand what I'm talking about? She left for Omugo 11 years ago. The husband passed on 3 years ago. She didn't come back for the funeral. So please, I am begging you. This is not a funny matter. You people should stop going for everlasting Omugo. Omugo that has no end because you cannot endure your horrible husbands at home. So please, divorce when you're still young. If you know your marriage is horrible, is unbearable. Don't wait until you're old and gray and then you now move into your daughter's home and you refuse to move back to your husband's home. You'll move into your daughter's home and you'll be there waiting for them to announce that your husband has passed on at 70. So in the United States, in England, in Europe, you see women, you see men, they are 50, they are 60, and they just feel that, look, this marriage is not working. And then they go their separate ways because they don't want to be going for omugos that has no ending. You're going to carry a newborn baby for your daughter. Did she invite you? And even if she did, you should not stay longer than a certain period of time. So please, this topic is very funny because it's a real life situation. And when I'm done with this show, I know she's going to be calling me or sending me a WhatsApp message. But that is the truth. The mother is still in Houston as I'm speaking. 11 years. Now the husband is late. He's been buried. She didn't come back for the funeral. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Now, that is not a marriage. So if you're in that kind of marriage, please come out, okay? You fall into the category of gray divorcee, gray divorced people. There is nothing wrong with that. There is no shame in that. We as the people, we just have to cry out to our legislature here in Nigeria to enact laws that will be favorable for people that want to file for a divorce, irrespective of the age, whether you're young, whether you're old. If you want to file for a divorce, you should be able to walk into the courthouse, drop your petition, even if you don't have money for legal aid. Your petition, your signature from both parties should suffice. And if the other party is proving difficult or is refusing to sign the document, there should be laws that will enable the judiciary to dissolve it amicably. Please, let's stop punishing ourselves. Life is too short. Why do we want to stress and suffer? And it's not necessary. There are too many things in the world to do, too many things in the world to see. I mean, I am so happy. The past few years, I've been able to travel to so many places with, of course, the love of my life. I've been able to climb very high heights, you know, eat ice cream on the streets, go to the cinemas, things I couldn't do in my previous marriage. So I am living my life. I am living the way I want to live, and I am happy, okay? It doesn't mean I don't have challenges every now and again. I have those challenges, and I fight them, and I will continue to fight them as long as they keep rearing their heads, because that is what we're here for. The minute you are unable to speak your truth, the minute you are unable to speak, you have been silenced, then you're no longer living. You're as good as what we call a zombie. You're a walking dead. Because your right to speak, your right to your own freedom of speech is what makes you a living being. So do not let anyone rob you of that right. You have a right to live. We are on this march for gender equality in this part of the world, and we will continue to march forward. We'll continue to press on. And I always tell people, gender equality for me is not gender superiority. Gender equality means equal opportunities given to both sexes. That is it. I am not superior to the male sex, and the male sex is not superior to me. We should have equal rights to thrive, equal rights to access education, finances, and every opportunity that there is out there. So we press forward. We'll not give up, we'll not relent. We'll just keep speaking our truth one day at a time. So thank you all for joining in, and please, if you're in a horrible, horrible marriage, horrible divorce, please, a horrible union, divorce while you're young, while you still have your energy about and you can build your life again, instead of waiting until you're gray and old and you cannot pick up the pieces of your life. That's my advice, based on my own experience, you know. So thank you all for joining in. Thank you all for Frankios Ajala said, hilarious. You got me cracking up at endless Omugo. Yes, that's the truth. Endless. It never ends. It never ends. So thank you all for joining in. Happiest birthday to my kid, bro baby, Jensen. Oh, you remembered. Wish him more years, more wins, more wisdom, age with grace too. I love him so much. Thank you. I will tell him. Thank you so much. People should learn to make hay while the sun shines. Exactly. People should learn to make hay while the sun shines. Destiny, Ganiyu, thank you for sharing this topic. It meant so much to me. Thank you too for joining in, Destiny. Thank you for joining in. Love you too. So see you same time next week on Life's Journey with Benedicta. Bye-bye. Binta_Ghana, you said waiting for all the children to be out makes one lose yourself with each passing day till you are just an empty shell. Exactly. Absolutely. You endure till you're 6 feet under or until your biological clock stops ticking. Until you're menopausal, you're menopausal. So all those things do not make any sense. Honestly, make hay while the sun shines, just like Guru_Timi said. So that's lesson for all of us, I believe. Thank you for joining in. Binta, thank you for joining in. Freddy_Lion King, thank you for joining in. Eyimofe_I joined, thank you for joining in. I appreciate your contributions to this topic. Do have a lovely evening and see you same time next week. Bye-bye.